Horizon Forbidden West is a shining example of what happens when a talented developer is given the proper time and resources to execute its vision for a great game, straddling the console generations and delivering an excellent experience on both the aging PS4 and the new PS5 consoles. Guerrilla Games' latest action RPG ranks among the premier league of PlayStation first-party games that deliver an unparalleled experience in production value, storytelling, and captivating gameplay that transports the player to a world where one won't mind spending countless hours marveling at its beauty, culture, design, and lore. It has been 5 years since the first game Horizon Zero Dawn was released, so I can forgive anyone, including myself, for forgetting any of the core narrative elements in that game, including many of its secondary characters. While I remember the plot beats well, the different tribes and Aloy's allies are lost on me. Thankfully, Forbidden West starts off with a neat recap video the first time you boot it, and even in the game's early hours you're given plenty of obvious exposition from characters to get you up to speed. Following the apparent defeat of Hades, a malevolent AI that sprung off from the larger but defunct system Gaia, Aloy must travel uncharted territories to find and restore the latter in hopes of saving Earth from its doom. That's what you'll find on the back of the box, but that's barely scratching the surface. For Horizon, Guerrilla has crafted a world so rich with new cultures that it's hard to unpack it in just one single paragraph. Like the first game, you'll meet new faces, face new enemies, make new friends and enemies, all the while traversing the conflicting political and ritual ideologies of the many different tribes that inhabit our far future. Fan favorites like Silence, Val and Anon get more to do here, and the new characters that get introduced are so awesome that I feel the writing team over at Guerrilla deserves more recognition. The game starts pretty slow, but by the time I had crossed the 8-hour mark or so, a new twist emerges, one which instantly grabbed my attention and won't let me leave my comfortable bed for entire nights. Forbidden West explores more of everything that made Horizon Zero Dawn unique, including elements that people may not be interested in. Unlike Assassin's Creed, which shelved its modern day segments because the majority of its player base didn't engage with it, Horizon Forbidden West explores even more of the old world, bringing new revelations that I did not see coming. It gives both fans of the tribal future and those of the technological past something new to chew on, and makes it so that you won't miss a beat should you choose to engage less with either element. That's a big win in my book. Of course, it's not all perfect. The tried and tested trope of no one trusting the outsider, leading to time-wasting errands and side quests remains, and it gets old pretty fast. There were many times where the larger story would get stopped in its tracks just for Aloy to go on yet another adventure to gain the trust of the new people she encounters, only adding more hours to the game's total length without meaningfully moving the plot forward.
Okay. So by that logic, what's stopping me from killing you right now and taking what I need to save everyone?
You could try. You might even succeed. Either way, you must fight. My way might hold off Regalla and the slaughter she craves.
Fine. What do you need?
I need more marshals to keep the tribe together.
The PlayStation 5 has been out for over a year, but it's hard to point to many games that truly show what the new hardware can do. While I have always been critical of the approach, which usually means that it hampers the potential of new games, developers have shown that straddling the two vastly different generations may not be a bad thing. Make no mistake, Forbidden West is a PS4 game with no features locked to the new console. It builds on the foundation that Guerrilla had built with its first open world game, and learns from the games that have come out since. The core gameplay loop takes cues from similar games, with its quest and world building structure reminding me a lot of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Throughout the game, you'll be hunting machines, upgrading weapons, crafting potions, taking on contracts, exploring mysterious ruins, all the while stumbling upon wildly different biomes throughout its long main quest. Everything I mentioned here is taken from the first game, but vastly expanded upon. Quests are much deeper, NPC interactions are more lively thanks to actual scene direction, and gameplay has been refined to offer more flexibility to the player. Smaller elements like focus, which is something similar to Eagle Vision or detective mode from other games, has also gotten an upgrade, and general traversal is way better here. The Decima engine has been upgraded and polished to a sheen, making world traversal much more enjoyable thanks to a reduction in janky mechanics. I love the new tools and techniques that Aloy gets and learns over the course of her journey, be it gliding in the air or exploring underwater ruins, or even mounting new types of machines. You can even tag different parts of the fearsome dinosaur-like machines now. Speaking of combat, the skill tree has received an incredible overhaul, making it much deeper and more rewarding with similar classes like the first game. A new mechanic called Valor Surge allows Aloy to execute Mortal Kombat-like power moves that can turn the tide in battle, although switching between the different unlockable surges is a little cumbersome. There are small problems in combat too, particularly with animations. Sometimes they can take a little too long, resulting in Aloy getting stun locked by faster machines. In general, I felt that the combat was also harder this time around, even on the normal and easy difficulty modes. The weight of all that falls harder on your shoulders during the sequel's bigger and bolder boss battles, which feature impressive creature designs that represent the perfect marriage of Guerrilla's talented art and technology teams. Thankfully to that end, the large amount of accessibility options means you can fine-tune your experience just the way you like it. These include adjusting individual audio levels for different elements and also an option for gyro aiming. The game comes in two different native versions for the PS4 and PS5. I played the game on the PS5, which offers two graphic modes. A performance mode which runs at 60 FPS at checkerboarded 1800p, and a quality mode which runs at native 4K at 30 FPS. This shows that Forbidden West is an immensely scalable game, with the PS5 version equivalent to an ultra graphics preset on PC, with the PS4 and PS4 Pro left at low settings. Also note, there are no options for ray tracing here, but that doesn't mean the game isn't pushing the PS5 to showcase its beautiful world. Textures are sharper, the lighting is noticeably more pronounced thanks to a hero light that follows Aloy only reserved for cutscenes on the PS4, and the sheer amount of geometric detail is quite honestly overwhelming. I played the game alternating between both modes, sticking to 60 FPS for the most part. The drop in resolution is extremely noticeable, especially on things like foliage, but if you're playing it at 1080p display, that may not be visible. All of the beautiful detail gets exponentially amplified the moment you turn on photo mode, which is also excellent here. And I imagine that fans will take it for a ride for the many months and years following the game's release. As is usual with the PS5, the DualSense controller is also put to good use, with the use of haptics and adaptive triggers adding a new level of immersion. Even the subtlest movement like hiding in long grass, swimming underwater, or prying open a canister for loot provides unique vibrations. Forbidden West's much higher production value is on full display on the PS5, with a gigantic scope that complements the amount of pixel power the console can render. It's not just sharper pixels, but also the breadth of variety in color in its different landscapes that adds so much, especially if you're playing in HDR. Of course, the PS5 version also includes enhancements like faster loading and 3D audio. The former is fast enough depending on the distance you're traveling in the world, ranging from under 2 seconds to around 6. It helps a lot in the heat of a tough fight, as getting back is made much more convenient. It also helps in completing side missions on the other ends of the map, as traversing the world and waiting a while can kill the rush. The 3D audio is also quite noticeable, expanding the soundstage of Horizon's world. I could hear events much further in the distance, and the modulation of sounds in different environments like underwater or in caverns adds a great sense of depth. It also puts performances front and center, with so many characters including NPCs from side quests now having bespoke voice work put into them. It only makes the world better. Given the game has a vast open world, it's natural to expect bugs and glitches, but aside from a few visual oddities like pop-in and odd texture filtering, I never ran into anything game-breaking. I did have the game crash on me once, and the underlying issue may have already been fixed with a patch that went live on the first day of release. Do note though that if you're buying the game, the PS4 version offers a free upgrade path, saving you an additional 20% of the asking price of the PS5 alone.
That shield's not gonna save you!
Horizon Forbidden West is an absolutely gorgeous game that builds upon Guerrilla's foundation with an gargantuan scope, both with its deeper gameplay and story, especially soaring high on the PlayStation 5. This is a gold standard for sequels, and if this is just the edge of the cross-gen territory, I can't even begin to imagine what the future of the PS5 holds when games start taking full advantage of its hardware. Speaking of the PlayStation 4, if you want to check out how the game runs on that console and whether you should buy that version if you don't have a PS5, do check out the video by Illegal Desi. There's a link in the description to that video, so go and support Illegal Desi also. And if you want, you can also follow him and me on Twitter and share your experience with Horizon Forbidden West.